Hey, you've survived another week. Thank you for listening, downloading, and subscribing to Bluescast. I'm Reverend Ken Blanchard, and this week, the beginning of a product review, the history of this music for me, the story behind this week's YouTube videos, and the interview that didn't happen. If you're ready, let's do this thing. All right, that was strange. But, hey, this is a brand new podcast, journaling the journey of a blues player in 2024. I am still feeling my way in this podcast game, even though I've done it before. It seems new all over again. I want to give a quick shout out to the 3 listeners that I have, and thank you for coming back. You ready? All right, this week on YouTube, you might have seen 2 of my videos. One, I wanted to see how it would be if I was to do a little funk and do a little bit of movement, trying not to be so static. So I was trying to get out of just sitting comfortably in my chair and kind of moving to the music. And it's a skill by itself, actually, to dance and play. And I tried it. I think about 3 of you guys watched it, which, since all my YouTube videos are an experiment, I'm figuring my audience is not into funk. Or 2, I sucked at it. That wasn't a good thing to play. Or 3, sit your big behind down next time. I don't know. But my second experiment for this week, I've been working on an old Sonny Boy Williamson song that the Blues Brothers covered back in 1980. And it's called Shotgun Blues. And I really like how it sounds, but Matt Guitar Murphy, his guitar version was way more advanced. He'd been playing a lot longer than me. And I actually thought he overplayed. So I thought if I kept it simple and worked on my timing and try to make it sound pretty bluesy, which if you're a singer in every other key and every note, my stuff was all over the place. But I think for the genre, that's how we sing it. But I enjoyed it. And it took me a couple of tries to get that first bit out. What's weird about it, though, the song basically says he's going to kill himself, shoot himself with a shotgun. And I had to make sure that I wanted everybody who watched it to know that I am not and do not have suicidal ideations. I was just playing a 1941 song. And I threw up a suicide prevention thing at the end, just in case somebody else was feeling that way. And I didn't want to be the cause of them going, yeah, Ken says he's going to do it, so I'm jumping off the bridge now. So I had to put that up there. I didn't want to scare anybody. So that's the reason for it. And a lot of blues actually are really sad. And sometimes they're so sad they're funny. And I'm hoping I get to that point eventually, where everything that I'm going through is funny. But when you're in it, not so much. If you've been following Reverend Ken Blanchard on YouTube, you'll see that I try to do at least 1 or 2 videos a week. And they are kind of an accountability thing for me. I'm making sure that I'm practicing. I'm making sure that I'm getting out of my comfort zone, that I'm trying stuff. And the good stuff I'll keep, the bad stuff I won't. And I'll know in the future if I've gotten better on whatever I tried. A lot of it's like a personal thing I'm sharing with you. They're my flubs for the most part. They're not the practice, the finished piece. Most people wouldn't play in front of people when they don't have their stuff together, but it keeps me humble. So that if I ever do get a gig, I won't sweat it. I would just rip through the thing and knock people's socks off, because we can be our own worst enemies sometimes. Can I get an amen on that? So we got those 2 things going. Also had a doctor's appointment. I took my wife to get her physical, and the doctor, before we got done, said, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a while, slicko." So they stuck me and made me do stuff. Now waiting for some results in the next week. but I already know what they're going to find. I've been stressed out for 3 years, and my body has taken a few hits, and I've been drinking way too much caffeine, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that I could do better with a better diet and some exercise. So if I haven't done irreparable damage, which they're going to probably tell me, your PSAs are very high, you're something, whatever they say, I am praying that it can be reversed, which I kind of think it can. I just got to change my lifestyle and let this music work for me. It is working. I just got to let it. I got to let it, Sometimes you can have the cure, but you don't allow it to be worked on or work on you. Stuff I'm learning as I'm going through. Also, this week I thought I would have my first interview for you. I was crushing on a blues artist out of San Francisco or somewhere over there in California. But she declined after either learning about me or I might have overshared, which I think I did, scared her away. But I'm looking forward to bringing artists on so that I can learn from them, because they're light years ahead of me in so many ways, and then I can share them with you. I'll ask her permission before I play her music here, though. And then maybe it was just a timing thing, and she'll be back. But if not, it's all good. We keep moving, right? I'm in another strange place in my life where I am the older guy with less hang-ups than I ever had. I am so free that I'm probably creepy to the younger people, so I got to watch that. Let me know how you navigate all that stuff that's happening these days with talking to people. Used to be a little easier. Now, not so much. There was a really cool podcast that I just found called Know Your Gear. You probably know about it. A guy by the name of Philip Ignite and Know Your Gear podcast. And his YouTube videos are amazing. He always does some tech stuff, breaks down guitar things. And I learned something about shielding today that I'm going to take my guitars apart soon and do a whole bunch of little stuff to them just to tighten them up. But paint some shielding underneath and ground some things. One of the things I'm doing here in the studio is when I play or practice, I kind of take note of static and noise and hiss and hum and just little stuff that you don't hear, or when you do hear it, it's irritating me to the 20th degree. So I'm learning about electronics. This whole thing is new for me, and it's exciting and frustrating. But that's just some of the stuff that I got going on. And I learned that I really like G&L guitars. I really do. The red one that I have and the natural one are G&Ls. Have you ever heard the Great Migration? The Great Migration was one of the largest movements of people in the history of the United States. 6 million black people moved from the South to the North, to the Midwest, and to the Western states from 1910 until 1970. And the big move was, in case you didn't know, to escape the violence that was happening, to pursue some economic and educational opportunities, and actually to be free from the oppression they called Jim Crow. The Great Migration is in 2 phases, and it kind of connects to both world wars. The first one happened between 1910 and 1940. And that's when black Southerners relocated and went to New York and Chicago, Detroit, and Pittsburgh. When the war ramped up in 1917, more men were sent off to Europe to fight and left their industrial jobs empty, and as labor was strained with the decline in the immigration from Europe and all the standing bans on people of color from other parts of the world. And all this afforded the opportunity for the black people in the U.S. to be the labor supply in non-agricultural industries. Now, although the migrants found better jobs and fled the South entrenched in Jim Crow. Many black folks faced injustices. It was a new kind of slavery. It was also rooted in the tensions and prejudice that just arise from people having to adjust to demographic changes in their local communities. Nobody likes a stranger. From between World War I and World War II, it's estimated like 2 million black people left the South for other parts of the country. World War II brought the expansion to the nation's defense industry and many more jobs for African Americans than any other locales. Again, encouraging a massive migration that was active all the way up to the 70s. And during this period, more people moved north and further west to California's major cities like Oakland, LA, and San Francisco, as well as Portland, Oregon, Seattle. Within 20 years of World War II, a further 3 million black people migrated throughout the United States. This relates to the music because the music followed this migration. The Southern feel, the Southern style, went up north and changed. It followed the train lines. It followed the roads. In 1941, for example, a guy by the name of Alan Lomax, a musicologist, visited the Stovall plantation near Clarksdale, Mississippi, and working for Fisk University and the Library of Congress, he traveled throughout the Delta to interview local musical cultures in rural communities. And one of the guys that he recorded is one of my musical heroes. He was a sharecropper. His name was McKinley Morganfield, but he also went by the name of Muddy Waters. Though Muddy worked a full-time job on the plantation, he played and performed the blues. The songs he recorded for Lomax, with titles like I Be's Troubled and Burr Clover Farm Blues, came out of a folk tradition through which songs were passed along orally and changed from generation to generation. Several of Muddy's songs addressed the worries and struggles of black life and a determination to escape to a better place. 2 years after that first field recording in 1943, Muddy left his home on the Stovall plantation to live in Chicago. Within a decade of his arrival, he had launched one of the most significant careers of any American blues artist. From 1950 to 58, Muddy Waters had 14 top 10 songs on the Billboard R&B chart and was packing nightclubs, which, at that time, was a big deal. In 1963, his piano player, Otis Spann, would introduce him on stage as the man who brought the blues from the country to the city, pointing to Muddy's substantial contributions to the evolution of the blues tradition. I said he was one of my heroes because his music sounds simple until you try to sing it and play it at the same time. You know, because of slavery, American slavery, African Americans had lived as a displaced people. In some ways, the experience of this great migration continued this displacement story. And the blues articulated the troubles people faced when uprooting their lives and allowing migrants to connect as they struggle. When Muddy sang I Feel Like Going Home, one of the first songs he recorded in Chicago, or when Howlin' Wolf bellowed Smokestack Lightning, a song built around the image of a moving train, their audiences were familiar with the longing and the imagery expressed in that song. Oftentimes, the folks listening shared a sense of community when they heard the music. They had watched the same trains pass through the country towards new opportunities in the North. Those who migrated often reflected back on the places from which they had come, and the blues served as a link between their old homes and their new urban lives. Now, if you've watched Cadillac Records, you might know the name of Philip and Leonard Chess, two Polish immigrants living in Chicago that began to search for people to be on their Chess record label in the late 1940s. And they decided to focus on blues artists whose music appealed to an emerging urban African-American community. Through the 1950s and 60s, Chess recorded artists like Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Willie Dixon, in addition to the blues-influenced people like Chuck Berry and Bo Diddley, who crossed over into pop. Like Muddy Waters, most of these musicians had migrated from the South. As I said in the beginning, the blues is a history of my people. but not just my people. This musical form has opened my eyes to see that there are a lot of people playing the blues, and it's all right. It's an art form. It's a genre. It's no longer race music. Now, my blues is going to be different than your blues, but it's still the blues. In the future, I hope to have a product review for the Fesley FME 1000. It's a multi-effects processor and amp modeler that I bought, and I am looking forward to making the best of it. I like the way it looks. I only saw just a couple of videos on it, and I was going to buy a Boss pedal, and I have a couple other loose single pedals, but I thought it'd be kind of cool if I could just get a good wah, a good chorus, a good tube screamer type thing, and get a sound that's mine, a traditional thing that I always play. And it sounded good. But the user manual for this thing is a little hard for me. I'm not figuring it out real well. So I still got some work to do and learn how to make this thing work. If not, it'll be up for sale in a few months. But I'm going to give it a good try and learn how it works the best. It's the Fesley. Am I saying that right? Yeah, Fesley multi-effects processor and amp modeler. See, what happened was I had a tube screamer, I had a distortion pedal, I had a Jimi Hendrix wah, and I am performing out in Wisconsin at the Indian Bike Week, and I just got out of the truck, and they said, "Hey, can you start playing now?" And I was expecting to play the next day, so a little bit weary and crazy. I said, "Sure." So I set up on the stage, and I'm rushing, and I got nervous. It's like my first time being in front of that many people, and I plugged two of my pedals into the power box, but put the wrong adapter on the power box. Smoke starts coming out of it. It caught a fire, basically. I unplugged it really quick, but it was toasted, and that smell, everybody thought it was the fog machine, and I had done it on purpose, but I knew I was done. That power supply was toast, and luckily, but you probably already know this, most pedals operate on a 9-volt battery, so I just got rid of the AC power strip thing and used them individually, and they worked just fine after I got my nerves back down. But it made me think, how cool could it be if I had everything in one package, when I'm traveling? So that's why I'm trying this Fesley out. Over the Boss 100 and 1000 and 99, they got a whole bunch of different iterations, and they look kind of plastic. I wanted something that was going to last, and the price was not too bad on this one. So look for that on our on our YouTube channel. And if you have one and you want to help a brother out, feel free to send me an email and let me know what's going on. I might just be that kind of guy. Need to be tutored. I got my patience is kind of low right now. It's killing me to sit still, but I know where that's from. All right, that's it for this week. I'm changing up a little bit. Please let me know what you thought or what you're just thinking in general. I'd love to know what's on your mind and why you even listening to this thing. Unless you're one of my 3 friends, and then I know you love me, and I love you right back. Just in case nobody else has told you this today, I love you, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. Till next week, this is your friend and your brother from another mother, the Reverend Ken Blanchard. Shalom, baby.